first time I was alone with a computer was, absolutely those two things are neck and neck with when I saw boobs in the first time I had
what can I see? Dragon Ball Z. What's next on my list? I know.
Right.
Going from Zootopia to boobs is like a really weird transition.
You know what most kids will do.
Yeah.
Kids who love Zootopia will one day love boobs.
I mean, that was like, right, even around
There is a subset of Pornhub.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine.
You can just end the sentence there. There is a subset of Pornhub, regardless. Whatever is the ending of this is going to be.
Too true and too unfortunate. I mean, I was going back and forth from like Pokemon to boobs. Like around that same time. That was like the age where I was like, all right, sweet. Oh, cool. There's a new Pikachu. Oh, it's a smaller Pikachu. Nipples are free. That was my
I like how
Nipples are free.
When you talk about like youth and like adolescence, you really can't talk about the sexuality because it's weird, but you kind of just have to assume that it happens and no one's watching and they're learning about it, and that's totally fine, and we can't show that on
There's
screen.
an amazing moment I was told when my little brother, my mom had found a search of his, and it was completely misspelled, so it said like sexy woman's Pantos, and I was like, "That's the greatest."
No, he's looking up like special, like ancient Greek,
sexy women's pantos,
ancient Greek underwear. Allow me to see your pantos.
Pantos in the hands of.
That was actually it is a Greek god.
Underrated comment. We got Charley Feldman in my apartment. What's up? Say hello.
Hi, this is me saying hello.
Where do people know you from, Charley?
People know me from Screen Junkies News.
Screen SJN.
We're burgeoning all over the place since October. I don't know, we're still new.
That's rad.
But I mean, Screen Junkies certainly isn't new. Honest Trailers has been around for decades now, right?
You're not new either. Like you're an adult, you're a human being, right?
It's true.
Been around for a minute.
I am not a boss baby.
That's,
God.
That felt too close.
I can't even laugh at boss baby jokes anymore. It's just like too real to me.
I know. Every time
I've grappled with the fact it's a lot like Trump, where it's like we're amused by the idea, and then when it makes $50 million on a box office, it's like, oh Jesus Christ,
this is happening.
The reality we live in now.
This is the darkest timeline.
I'm so confused because I go back and forth between when the title is the pitch. Sometimes that's great, and I'm like super into it, and other times it's just monster trucks.
Sure.
Snakes on
a plane.
Snakes on a plane. Like
Monster Truck's good.
It was fine.
Monster Trucks is an underrated Nickelodeon picture. I enjoyed it more. Like now that I sit on it, I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah.
I feel like Sunday afternoon, you're not doing anything. That seemed like a pretty fair enough
what we did.
concept.
That's 100% what we did.
Probably super stoned.
Yeah. Audio missing for this portion. Is there like a liquor culture? Because there's definitely a weed culture, right? Is it just douchebags like talking about like font, like you need to keep it in this kind of wood cabinet in order for it to whatever bullshit?
Whiskey people and beer people.
Yeah.
I feel like there's different with anything. There's the people who are the douchebags about it, where it would really annoy you that they're like so into it. But then there's also just, I'm sure there's cool people who
a friend of a friend coined this term where bike jocks still jocks. Like if you're a jock of something, you're always going to be kind of a jock, even if it's like something cool like bike riding. So maybe like, I don't know, beer jocks still jocks.
Well, we get into this. I'm sorry, we get into this question a lot with like nerddom.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go.
Where is someone's line between their interests and their identity? Like where does that point where it's just like, all right, dude, like you really love Transformers, and it's like that's fine, that's like a way to live your life, but it's like fuck.
Well, but
Optimus Prime chess piece.
Who else are you?
It's also what's the aggression thing as well. He's talking about like jocks, like that's the same thing where it's like when someone's. I remember like when I was dipped my toe into the esports world, where I was in that house, and I was like being picked on because I didn't play League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like, what a weird,
you don't wall, man.
Different dimension like that. But I mean, it's amazing in its own way. It's just we talk about it with like comics, like when how your nerd dick is the biggest nerd dick, and anybody who
I hate when the fandom does that. Any sort of like I'm gonna test your knowledge thing, or else you're not a real fan. That bugs me.
Sure. Yeah.
You didn't read this arc? It's like, no, fucking I didn't, because there's 50 years of content to cut through.
Here we are again.
No, I didn't.
Real fan again. This comes up so much, and it's just because of the movies that keep getting made. Like, who's a real fan now? Because now,
right?
Like even with it, we're gonna if we want to finally bring it into Ghost in the Shell. Like people who are going to see
segue.
this, they're going to see this. They're going to have zero. I'm sure some people don't even know that it's based on something. But if they like the movie or if they like the style, does that make it less like?
Yeah, well, what legitimizes your thing? It's just it's a lot of '90s nerds where it's I spent all this money like putting together the VHS collection of Highlander on whatever. It's just like
Bless their
congratulations,
hearts.
dude. Now it's easier.
Yeah.
It's like Marvel movies brought a new generation of nerd girls. It's like no, it's just people who've seen the fucking
We've
movies.
always been there.
it's more like
Literally always.
that. It's also
When is the qualifier? The
It's just-
goalposts keep moving like further and further.
I love when you talk
Yeah.
about like the guy with like the Monster Energy drink hat
Yes.
and the like Ed Hardy T-shirt. That dude likes Iron Man now,
Right.
and it's like
Well, now
that's
It's
the
weird.
guy.
It's uncomfortable.
That
but
dude would call you gay when we in sixth grade. Isn't that? It was like
Kind of no longer exists. Now it's all like hype beasts. It's like a full Adidas sweatsuit, and it's just like, yeah, fam, I fucking love the Hulk. It's like, yeah, great, cool. It's that same dude though, just translated 10 years later.
Is it disappointing? Would you prefer it to be like a more pure fandom?
No, and that's always where we get to as well.
Yeah.
It's like as much it's annoying. Everything sucks. Everything's annoying.
The only thing you get into is
Period.
like, yeah,
Just period.
everything
I'm just
sucks
saying.
and everything is
End of podcast.
Everything is terrible.
We're done.
Speaking of everything being terrible, Ghost in the Shell. Wow,
Another good segue.
What a picture. Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell,
Yeah.
2012. Who directed this?
2012.
2013. Dude, 2017.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not.
Stroke.
I've never been okay.
What year is
We
this?
saw it in 2092, and
Rupert Sanders directed this one.
Rupert Sanders, who also did Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yes.
Yeah,
which also looked amazing.
Exactly.
True.
So I mean, that's the argument
He'd
here,
seen
right?
some Miyazaki films. He's like, I can do that.
Exactly. And he kills it. He does a great
It's
job.
gorgeous.
He does a fantastic job visually.
Visuals.
Hard period there, because everything else, even the things that come from that, which is the fight choreography,
Yeah.
is not nearly up to snuff to what this movie looks like.
Yes,
Completely.
and I kept getting excited because she would throw like a couple punches or do like a sweet flip, and I'd be like, "Oh, sick!
Hell yeah.
This is gonna be great."
This is the
and then
moment.
she was done.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I
sure. Let's not
see."
follow up.
And I would think Scarlett Johansson, like, she's been Black Widow for a pretty long time at this
Yeah.
point. Like, I feel
Right.
like she could bring it. And Lucy, she brought
course
it.
she
The fight
could.
choreography of Lucy.
Oh, yeah, it's not
regardless of
her.
what you think of the film, they're good fight choreography.
Sure.
Even just in as recently as Civil War, when,
Yeah.
like all of her fights in Civil War were awesome.
Sure. So we know it's not obviously not her.
No.
She's
Yeah.
not this trained fighter who just like, oh, let me pull in a fire dragon kick in this scene. It's like it's not gonna happen.
Do you think that's a real thing?
Yeah, dude, they do fire dragon. They keep
Is that like the lightning bolt, like Chun-Li kick?
Yeah,
Or-
dude.
Okay.
It's like the Iron Fist
I was
kick.
about to say you've been watching
Oh.
I
Iron
watched a
Fist.
little bit of Iron Fist. I don't know.
I gave up after 5 episodes.
I did, I did too, and I was like, maybe I should
This
keep
is-
watching this.
One of the maybe this is only second to the Fantastic Four movie that came out a couple years ago, where I just 100% I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna start. I've
Right.
heard too much bad stuff. I also wasn't. I was watching the trailers, and I love Marvel stuff, and the trailers didn't excite me, and I'm
Sure.
just not even gonna start. And
But
there's
now
after like
the
the first.
issue here comes from the right to criticism, which is something I've also seen with Ghost in the Shell. Of people like talking shit on Ghost in the Shell, and it's like, did you see it? It's like, no, the trailers just look bad, and it's like, well, hang on a second.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you're just saying like, I'm not interested in this. I've heard too many bad things. That's fine, but to be like, oh, the cinematography it just wasn't there. It's like you've seen a couple clips,
Yeah.
handpicked by the studio to sell the movie,
Yeah.
but a lot
that
of which
all-
isn't reflective of the
that
final
in its
product.
own could be a failure though, because that's how I felt about Iron Fist as well. Where I was like, I mean, if this is good in there, I didn't see it. You
Yeah.
didn't show me it, so I just.
But
I'm
I think with
sorry.
Iron Fist is if you already have a Netflix subscription, it's free for
That's
you.
right.
Ghost in the Shell, you still have to shell out some money. Yeah, that's where you guys have me on.
What I
Once
didn't.
told me the world is
She said some. Come on.
yeah, so there's a lot of puns to be made here that the movie was a beautiful shell and inside
Oh, God,
not
no-
but
The,
smoke.
the ghost
No
was
ghost.
nothing.
Yeah.
It was so what start from the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful scene of Scarlett Johansson's body being created. She's going through the gestation,
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
shot for shot
I
from
was
the
gonna
original
say,
picture.
almost.
Very, very good, poignant scene. That insane opening song from the original movie is remixed by Clint Mansell. Kind of cool here. Immediately
You barely hear it,
cut
though.
to, yes.
I don't know. I was disappointed by that remix. I'm like,
It wasn't fantastic, but it's at least gives you faith that they're gonna. Okay,
Maybe
so
this might be
we
really
saw the
bad.
original movie. Immediately cut to generic doctor character, generic CEO character talking about ethics and medicine and profits and security secrets. It's Jesus Christ. What has happened
The best
here?
bit was that it had to first open with I will say this first. I've never seen the other one. I haven't seen the first one ever.
Ever?
No.
Not any of the, not Standalone Complex, not...
Nothing.
He's not an anime guy.
So I have
You
the
were missing
like
out.
the Toonami like TV spot sort of images. Like you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's kind of what I went and we were excited about that because I was ready to sort of like if it wasn't faithful but was still fun, I was ready to put my foot down and defend it.
Sure,
but
absolutely.
that's maybe not where we're at. But anyway,
That's the nature of adaptation, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like if you're going in expecting something, even it doesn't have to have any of the same themes as the first one. As long as they did something good with it, why the fuck not?
Right.
Are you entertained?
Sure.
Then yeah, you've
Why
done
the hell-
okay.
They just fucked up. They
said all-
really
This
bad.
is a
And they didn't do a good job.
slog. This was boring. I don't understand how you
boring.
make that much visual entertainment into
Sure.
boredom and
Especially considering
opportunity.
Considering the original's 80 minutes long. 80-minute full.
wow, is it only 80 minutes?
It's tight.
Nice, tight, and done. Tells you
That's
like, hey, here's
bonko.
we have things to say about gender and sexuality, and this is what making babies will look like beyond humanism. The end of the movie, and it's like great.
Holy shit.
Hell yeah!
Something is super important you should know is that the original is not anti-technology.
Right.
It is in no
Right.
way anti-futurism. It's very like this is just our way of life. And some people have cybernetic things, some people do not.
Right.
This movie was literally like a middle finger to millennials. It's like, this is gonna do mankind, your Snapchat filters.
You're already my favorite guest because
Snapchat.
that is fucking incredibly. You're missing the point of the first movie
Completely.
And even if you're not adapting
Right.
it to do something that's the antithesis of it, I don't want to stick too much on the old movie.
But how does it not feel like a spit?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Right on
It's
your
just
face.
like so you put these scenes in the trailer for us to for fans to be like, oh, this is going to be like the original thing. But then when you get
for
into
the
the movie,
fans, guys.
exactly. Wait, no,
But
it's not for the
but
fans.
It's not. But that's going to be
guys.
that's what Iron Fist said. Is
Right.
like it's just for the fans, and that's basically
only
what
the
goes
fans
show.
will get
Right.
it.
But it's not. Nothing that any of us enjoyed about the original movie. Or I love Standalone Complex. I think it's a really good. So it takes place. So you do
Yeah.
not know. It takes place before the film.
Gotcha.
Before the first film. So it's sort of like not a procedural, but it's her and Bato and Kusanagi, and they're all like
They're in the
on
PR
beat.
room and they're trying to figure out, if we
It's
cast
their
Scarlett
day- it's their
Johansson.
day-to-day.
And they
is
have
this
an
gonna-
antagonist. The Laughing Man's in the first and the second gig is Kuze,
Yeah.
who they use in the movie, and he's nothing like
Not
Kuze
related.
from the show. Not
Completely unrelated. Just in name alone. Which
name
is,
and like he's also
weird.
like cybernetic, but
Yeah.
like he's basically the puppet master from the first movie, kind of. And
Sort
he
of.
like he totally gets shut down for like, hey, you want to make computer AI babies in your mind? And she's like, nah, and that's how this one ends.
See, but the other one is she says yes.
Yes.
And then
Gotcha.
everything.
There was consent.
Yes, and then cool things happen. What a fucking pointless statement to make of the consent thing. Like, you could have gone somewhere interesting
Yeah.
with that. Of
Right,
like,
yeah.
what does it mean to consent in like a post-organic society where you don't
Yeah.
actually really
Is it
have a
even
body?
her brain and
Exactly.
blah, blah,
And
where now companies can like mine your data and like sell it off. Like that just happened. So
Yeah.
we're really topical right now, and then they did nothing with it.
Well, that's it. We talked about it as soon as we left, where it was like, it'd be one thing to do the whole like, yeah, hold on to your humanity, and humanity is the important thing, and regard. And I mean, Tim, you were telling me when we were
Which
leaving,
is
that's
not
not
Ghost in
what
the
the
Shell.
thing
Yeah.
is about, right? But it's like, fine, if they're gonna do the thing where they need to make it the widespread, that this all of a sudden has to be dumbed
People
down
need
a
to
little.
eat that a little easier. Like, yeah, being human's great. which is
Fine,
what they want to hear.
but do that well, because they didn't even do that that theme well.
Yeah.
like every single bit of it was. It was either completely just said by someone without any actual backup,
Yes.
or it just didn't work at all, or it was like the same stuff we've seen every other time they say it's good to be human.
It's generic, which this is not. This, I mean, if you're going to adapt it at all, okay, let's see what the future of Ghost in the Shell would be like. We're past 95 by quite a many
Right.
number of years.
Sure.
So what does the future look like now? That's how they could have adapted from that standpoint.
Or even,
they didn't.
Done something good. Like, literally, they could have
fun,
just
man.
like, hey, you could have wrote a good
Right.
script there and not have lines of, get her out. She's being hacked. I can't.
Oh, dude.
She's being hacked? Really?
Oh my
Come on, make
God.
up some fucking jargon. Make
Yeah.
some bullshit up.
Give me
Please,
good
lie
jargon.
to me.
My favorite was they do the again. I'm not against. Okay, give me one line where you spell it out. Just the one time where they're like, but she's not a machine. She's a person. Okay, fine. I'll roll my eyes for that one little second, and then let's move on, right? And then so many times in the movie, they then have like a 5-line back and forth saying the same thing back and forth to each other. Where it's like, well, she's not a machine, she's a person, but she's a machine. No, but she's a person.
She's different. She's beautiful. Have you seen how beautiful she is? She's beautiful.
She's beautiful,
because she's a white lady.
Dude. It was just.
Are we going to touch on that?
You cannot, especially because I'm trying to ignore it. I know. In reference to the SJW comment earlier, but you can't avoid it. They literally made a Japanese lady into a white lady.
I agree 100%. So I'm sitting there, I'm trying to be like, all right, let's not think about this white. Oh man, they really made her look Japanese. Why did they do that? Like they really went through pains of giving her like the straight bangs haircut, and like her eye makeup is done in a way that's.
The rumor was that they were looking into CG to make them look more Asian. That was a rumor. They denied it. I don't know.
It's definitely odd. It's inescapably odd, and especially considering the way that they follow through in the story.
Anime, but yeah, it's still. I don't know. I just can't believe it. Can we be spoilery? Right
yeah,
now?
Of course.
Yeah,
spoil the whole thing.
Yeah.
So for people who hopefully have seen it, when they decided like. Through the entire time, they're like, Kusanagi, she's not Kusanagi, she's Mira. Mira's someone completely different.
Right.
And then she is Motoko Kusanagi, and she's this Japanese woman who we've made into this white woman arbitrarily. We couldn't just make her a Japanese shell. It's maybe a good meta commentary could have happened about like how Japanese people are like, because it's her and Kuze, right? They're both Japanese kids who are experimented on, and now they're pouty lipped white people.
Right.
Yeah. So something could have been done there, maybe.
There's also the point of
whitewashing commentary on that, but they didn't. They just threw it out and did nothing.
Exactly. And they kind of they ignored the theme that she's a neo-Luddite, which is like another thing where, okay, so that's the reason why they targeted them as the company targeted them as like, you know, these anti-technology terrorists, nobody will care.
Right.
They don't touch on, that's not like a part of her personality at all. And she talks so much about how like your actions move you forward and how, you know, it's not who you were. And then immediately like spends all this time with her mom, and it's just like, oh, don't worry, you don't have to come to this grave anymore. I'm alive. I'm still the person I was, but I'm also this new person at the same time. It's like, pick a fucking line of logic here. Go somewhere with it.
Thing of don't muddy it up, because you know, like, we would have gotten over, or not even gotten over, but it's just like, okay, it's Scarlett Johansson, sure, fine. And then it's like they went out of their way to make it upsetting again in a different way.
In a different way.
They're like, no, it's just like a different character. Gotcha. It's really
it's just unnecessary. I don't know. I can't say because I am a white lady, but I got over it. So because that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
But if they were going to go full whitewashing, go full whitewashing. But the fact they sort of, like you said, muddied it got worse. The backlash should have been greater if they knew this is what they were going to do.
Because Oshii's comment, so Mamoru Oshii came out and said, like, look, it doesn't really matter what race the major is. That's not like an important part of my story. That's fine. And it's like that would have stand as the director standing by the original director's comments if they didn't put the subplot of her being a Japanese woman in.
Right.
That's what makes it weird.
It's
I can
weird.
see in the so it's like, and just from what I've heard about what it is actually about and everything, I can see all the notes. You know exactly why they turned it into what they turned it into, and I can see in a warped way how they there was someone who genuinely thought doing that was making it better.
Sure.
They probably thought, oh, it's like, but it is still her. No, we
haven't forgotten.
It's
Japs.
Still her in her mind. And it's the mind that matters, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's your actions that matter, though. Is it your mind or is your actions?
Who cares?
Figure it out, movie.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
The point is to fight a spider tank.
Yeah, the point is shoot at a thing that very much looks like you shooting at it will do nothing.
Yeah.
There was a weird, like, glitchy CG moment in that last battle with the spider tank.
Really?
Where
when she's running up the wall?
What?
It looked so bad.
It looked terrible.
I'm so glad that someone else noticed that. It looked like...
What happened here?
Fred Keith said it looks like Super Mario Brothers. It does. It looks like
you gotta double jump, man. You gotta double jump.
Oh boy, it was rough. But so that scene is in the animated movie in totally different context.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
They kept the tree, which I thought the reference references were like
Visual.
like Bato having the basset hound was a nice.
Right.
Also, there's a Cowboy Bebop reference with the whole like finger guns from Kuze, which I appreciated as a big Cowboy Bebop fan.
I completely missed that.
I mean, I don't think it was a coincidence. I could be wrong, but
Sure.
So someone doing the script was at least knowledgeable
That
about
was anime as shit for like a mecha to be pointed at a half cyborg man and for him just to do this very sexy like gun hands thing.
See you, Space Cowboy. Yeah. So someone was overseeing it to make sure it was anime-ish, and then that's it.
Well, yeah, they took key scenes, key visuals from the movie and adapted. And the Basset Hounds actually know she like thing.
Yeah, he's like real into Basset Hounds. It's really cute.
Yeah, Tim
and that was it.
Felt the need in the movie
To tell you that, yeah.
to give me that whole thing, like after the dog showed up.
As much as I want to ignore it, I have like that need to tell people trivia just deep inside the back of my skull. It's like I'm the guy that knows the thing.
I didn't mind it. It was just that
I'm
I
also
felt
that guy. It's okay.
my reaction definitely was a letdown though, because you were just like, I wasn't annoyed. He was like, yeah, so he's like puts it in every single one of his movies, and it's just like sort of a signature. Oh, and that was the thing, yeah. And I would just be like,
great. Cool.
Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence was really good. Yeah. I don't feel like people talk about it. You don't disagree?
I was 12 and I traveled an hour and a half to see it at a limited theater in like Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Oh my god.
It was fun. It was a good time.
That and like Paprika I saw really close to each other.
I'd actually never seen it.
Paprika's
I know.
Great.
Anime.
I mean,
Dom is looking around terrified. He looks like his parents are fighting. It's just a very sad.
Join us. Join us.
No, is this my fault that you're talking about anime?
no, listen, this is definitely, I mean, there's going to be people who are listening to this who want to hear all that. I'm not going to bring it. I can tell you why.
Hey guys, you ever
this is
seen
like
Inuyasha?
Spider-Man. Yeah. God, not
He's
even.
kind of a wolf person.
Not even.
So Beat Takeshi's in this, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I that was another thing I turned to Dom. I'm like, hey, do you recognize that guy? Have you ever seen MXC on Spike TV?
Yeah.
He's Ken Blankenship from Ken, because that's what Western audiences know. Beat Takeshi, who is a huge Japanese actor, created this game show called Takeshi's Castle in the 80s, which they adapted and did like the Tiger Lily treatment to it and just voiceovered all of the stuff and just changed everyone's names, did a comedy. It's called MXC. It was on Spike TV.
Yeah.
If anybody remember that show, I love that fucking show. It was my first experience
fun
with
to
him
see
as well.
him.
Yeah, it was a blast just to see that guy. And I haven't seen any.
He's the one who plays Aramaki?
Yes.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen him in like 30 years or whatever since I saw that show. And it's like,
There could have been more of him.
Yeah, I enjoyed him. The fact that they just
Even
said,
though
like,
he's
just
really
let him
tall.
speak Japanese, that's fine.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to speak English, whatever.
I just didn't understand what anyone was doing.
Yeah. The whole plot of
Most
it.
of the movie.
Good question.
But I almost had enough. I was almost fine with it because of how it looked.
Yeah.
Like, it was so almost there where I was about to say I don't really care that it was dumb because it was cool enough. But again, it was like then maybe the fights just weren't cool enough.
That's
that
right.
I
What it
couldn't
was.
just look past it. But like for about the first half of the movie, every time it cut to something new, I was like, cool. Cool.
There was a point in the movie, you reminded me, and I wish I remember, it was towards the end, and she had just in this, like, fight sequence. I was going to say badass, but like, fight sequence.
Bad.
And it
Ass.
goes from that to, like, in the office, and the guy's a hologram who's, like, the main antagonist.
Right.
And totally
Gotcha.
cuts the energy. Like, you're with her, and you want the energy to, like,
Right.
crescendo, but they just are like, nope, we're back in an office.
Also, can I just say the guy that dismembers people's bodies and steals their parts, his name is Cutter. Fuck you.
Oh yeah.
Please go fuck yourself.
Well, you know what was funny was that I thought
News.
what I was seeing there was a echo of something from like an old anime or like an old anime
No,
translation
he's a
where
totally
some
new
dummy
character.
named
Yeah.
Geodude, like the same, you know what I mean? It was like the same, like, all right,
That's your anime knowledge pool to pull from. You're like, all right, let's pick one Pokemon. I guess that's all I have here. Fine.
What do you want from me? Kakarot, carrots, Vegeta. They're naming them all fucking vegetables.
Sure.
But I
yeah.
thought that's what that was. That guy was a new guy.
Right.
There's not
So
really an
Kata.
excuse now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean, he's generic CEO character who becomes the villain.
I also didn't know
and
what he was.
gets extrajudicially killed at the end of the movie.
He was the guy I didn't know what was he doing. What was the like at the end? What was he gonna get by killing everybody?
What was his desire?
She's supposed to be this huge asset. They put all this money in. Like, let's destroy her. What? Why?
And also, yeah, like the
Reprogram her.
the scientist was like, yeah, we can just get rid of those memories. No, and he's like, no, kill her. She's like, okay, but Like, we can get rid of the memories. I don't care. Yeah. Kill her.
Like, he's a bad businessman, guys. I don't think his acumen is very strong.
What is his goal? Like,
I have no
honestly,
idea.
Well, can we just talk about the Juliette Binoche character? Like, even if you never knew that she was a made-up character for the series, like, just a terrible character.
We gotta give her a mother. We gotta give her, because she's like, do you get it? Because we remade her into a new person, so she has a new mom. Do you get it? It's like, yes, we do. This is not good.
That was another one of those moments where it was like, we fucking understand. There wasn't a single point in that. It's pretty much as soon as she walks into the apartment, everybody in the audience knew that, oh, okay, that's her mom, and this is where she came, and this is who she was.
Right.
But then they take the...
Oh, you're talking about the original Japanese
Oh,
mom.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, who were you just talking about?
I was
the
talking
doctor.
about Dr.
You said mother.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Like mother-
They beat you over the head with the
type.
fact that she is exactly this doctor who created her.
Right.
And she has
He
a
loves
similar
her.
relationship
Oh,
with
yeah,
her
yeah,
than her
yeah.
real mother.
No, I was just... That was, again, it was like... And then she's like, yeah, you have my daughter's eyes. Like,
Why is
exactly
that?
White
my
lady
daughter's eyes. Like, I can see her. Are you my daughter? And then you're like, fuck, dude. Give us some credit, just a little bit.
Man.
I mean, they couldn't. Even the first scene where she like shoots the really cool looking geisha. She's like,
Yeah, that was
Spider-Bot.
awesome.
That's fucking
I was
rad.
excited in the beginning.
rad.
I was like, oh,
That was not in the anime. That's a new
Yeah.
thing, right? The spider geisha. I don't think they did
so.
that one.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't remember.
If it would be like standalone complex, but yeah, when Bato was like, "You're nothing like her. Stop,
Right.
stop." That's
Right.
so on the nose.
That's not. I was thinking about lunch. What the hell? I wasn't thinking about that. What the fuck? Why'd you have to bring that into it?
And not to say like the philosophy's kind of heavy-handed in the anime as well, but they
Sure.
do it in a less heavy-handed way.
Well, I'm
It's
sure
like-
the what's the
Let me
word,
tell you something.
hypothesis of the anime is probably stronger from the get go.
Well, there's a lot
What
going
they're
on.
saying is probably just cool
Look,
idea.
if you're beating people over the head with a theme more than anime does, you're fucking up. You fucked up somewhere, because that is the thing where they constantly are talking about the point of the show that they're in every anime, and it's
Yeah.
completely nails on a chalkboard.
I don't know what part of the movie committee was like, hey, people really love those anti-corporate stories
Right.
where you're trying to like find your identity because they
Yeah.
take.
Well, it's
people
Total
love
Recall.
Born Identity. People love Total Recall. Let's just
Born
make
Identity,
this like that.
it's that exactly that format
why?
with the aesthetic of
seen it.
Ghost in the Shell layered over the top. And
Yeah.
for granted, like they
It's the
killed
shell?
it. They,
Okay.
Yes, they killed the shell. The shell was amazing. The shell was perfectly seasoned. Bato looked fucking rad. I liked seeing him
Yeah.
get
But why-
the eyes. I
really,
thought that was cool.
I disagree. I wish
Really?
everyone had their parts. We already saw that beat. She already became cybernetic. Why are we seeing him lose his eyes?
Right. Well, to be honest, I was peeing in the scene where he got the eyes, so I saw him lose the eyes. Went to pee, came back, he had the eyes. I'm like, this is great, good pacing. Which is so. Isn't that what they had to do? Because my experience with that was great because I did not see the
Fair
procedure.
enough.
Maybe they were worried you wouldn't like connect, like the audiences would be immediately turned off with someone whose eyes are like, you'd be like, oh Jesus Christ, are they in love? Oh, it's fucking scary.
Yeah, he was good. He has an impronounceable name. His name's like Pylos Backass or something like that. I swear to God,
It's a family name.
he's got
the back
long
asses.
line of backasses.
Pylos.
But he's
You
good.
mean the back of the back asses in that
Yeah.
line. Sorry.
I'm patriarch of the backasses. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah,
I
he's
couldn't
fine.
tell where he was from sometimes. His accent shot through. But overall, I think he captured the character of Bato well, of being like this just dedicated, gruff dude.
I hear in the manga he's funny, which they didn't really do in the anime.
Yeah, sure. I think he was charming.
He's gruff. They had a
Everyone was
relationship.
gruff. Yeah, the movie's a lot more grimdark than the anime as well. Or
Yeah.
the manga. I know that she's like, apparently she's like super sexually promiscuous in the manga. She's got like
Younger.
this girlfriend and a boyfriend at the same time, and it's just like this whole thing about. Really, it's an excuse for Shiro to draw like asses, like to draw women's asses and like a bunch of boobs.
I mean, is that a
why not?
bad excuse?
Sure, I mean,
Hey.
and that's a lot of anime in a nutshell, where it's just like a bunch of nerds following their basest instincts. And like, yeah, I just want to draw like a 9-titted woman, and I want to draw like a Power Ranger to fight her. And it's like,
And
Based-
then we're
fine.
gonna bring in the philosophy of Kierkegaard, just so
Yeah.
like you know we've got
Just hanging
brains.
out in the background. We got
You know.
some philosophy hanging around.
Nine-titted. That's
yeah, no, you
basic.
just let your- you
That's
let-
like the bottom of your.
There's a million papers to be written about this, about the sexually repressed nature of Japanese culture and how it culminates in like the insane
Culminates.
shit you say.
Hey.
It busts a nut, if you will, into anime and hentai. There's a lot to be said. I would engage with Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, Boss Baby has a higher rating than this. I haven't seen Boss
That
Baby.
should feel bad.
Maybe we should have
You've
seen
done
Boss
bad and you
Baby.
should
Maybe
feel
we should
bad.
have seen Boss Baby. I think that, but more importantly, this has a better rating than Power Rangers, which in
It was
no
2 hours?
fucking universe.
It was 2 hours.
It was a 2-hour runtime. Very long movie.
I would say it's better than Power Rangers by the sheer fact that the performances were way better.
And the visuals. I mean, like
it
visually,
looked
it's
better.
actually visually. Well, it's not visually inspired. It's literally doing the thing from the first movie. But that's fine because they kicked its ass.
Dude,
and they did a
Balto's
good
car.
job.
What's his name?
Balto?
Bongo. Dude,
Isn't that a dog?
Yeah, Balto's. Yeah, he's the dog.
Yes. Oh, the car was sick.
He's that. He's the. Yeah.
It's
His
that
car
new-
was awesome.
new Nissan style. That's straight from the first movie.
Well, that looked like very, very, very polygonal 80s.
Right.
And I was
Which
like,
is fun.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
It was
I
sick.
wanted to see more of the car. I said to Tim when we left, I don't usually like car chase stuff. It's not usually my favorite kind of action scene. But in this, I was like rooting for it, and I didn't get it.
Yes, the car was sick. It was a cool car. I want a Hot Wheels of it.
I do want a hot dude. I would love one.
I would love a Hot Wheels.
All right,
Who do
so
we write to?
Why don't we do Hot Wheels?
Hot
I
Wheels?
guess. Dear Hot Wheels, put
Make
this
car.
car. Make car. Signed.
Cars with the K.
yeah,
Crayon.
I don't know, man.
Sure.
I don't think it's worth your buck at the end of the day.
I don't think so either. I don't think it's worth paying, at least not like a $17 in a
Right.
major metropolitan area.
It's hard to say that because if the visuals are better on a big screen, but you have to pay for it, so
Yeah, I mean, I think the visuals can be appreciated at home on like
Yeah.
a Blu-ray thing. I mean, it's not like I find that movies that need to be appreciated in the theater, they have cool motion. Like they have cool visuals, and also the motion needs to be like captured with not the itty bitty bit. Motion
Yeah.
sucks in this. Like nobody moves in any meaningful or interesting way.
Yeah.
So it's just eye contact. You could get the same just seeing each individual frame in like a high resolution format. There you go. That's this movie. Just
But again,
scroll
I
through
mean,
it with your mouse.
that first action scene, the first thing with the geishas and the
Yeah, it was sick.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, is this what I'm in for? That seemed very well directed. It was cool. It felt like slick. I was like, all right, cool, man. I can get behind this.
Well, now here's an issue I have with that scene.
Ooh.
You have African Lord guy.
I think he's supposed to be the prime minister.
Sure.
Yeah.
I could have
Some
been wrong.
dude. He looks like a Zaro Zorandoxus from Game of Thrones. Motherfuckers. Thank you. Finally, a guest that understands me.
I know. Wow.
That was the
only
lore. I'm
black
like-
character on Game of Thrones
Yes.
besides the pirate.
I can't picture him.
He was the guy. He was like the
He's been in
super flamboyant black dude who had all the gold in Marine or wherever the fuck, what city that was.
I think
And
it
he
was
wanted
before
to marry Danny, and they lock him in the vault at the end. And he turns out he has no gold. You don't remember
yes,
this
yes.
at all?
Yeah,
Yes,
big bald guy.
Now I do.
Sure.
But you were saying
He
so
looked
much
like that
I-
guy.
Okay, cool, sweet. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Anyway, back to that guy.
His point is, and then he talks about how, my people have an issue with cybernetic enhancements and how they mess with the soul. And
He
you
has
got to
one.
watch out for that.
And-
Well, not only does he have one, they never talk about that ever again. About how cybernetic enhancements change you fundamentally as a person.
Right.
It becomes about how it doesn't at all. And they also don't talk about ghosts. In the
I
first
disagree.
movie. No. In the first movie,
Okay, I was
like,
going to say
they
because I think that might have been in the contract that they need to mention ghosts 25 times.
this was the female Ghostbusters actually.
Arguably, they
Ghost?
might have said the word ghost more times than
Right.
in Ghostbusters.
Well, so the first one is just the ghost is a vague concept. It's
Right.
like a spirit or something, and that's what Makoto has that makes her, and not her brain. It's just her ghost, whatever, and they don't really explain it. And they
I don't know
fucking
if I
say it
agree with that.
constantly.
I mean, they do go into like she doesn't quite.
Maybe in the show, right?
No, totally in the movie. I had to rewatch it. I was maybe going to do like an Easter egg thing for Screen Junkies. Did not end up happening because lack of interest.
That's the sound of the project
Yeah.
stopping. Just like the break.
Breaks got. Although I think they had enough Easter eggs to warrant one. Anyway, no, I felt like in the first one, there's the scene on the boat happens in the first movie where she's like going down to the depths and then comes up, and that's sort of a moment where she's like, I don't even know if my memories can be really like believable. Like I don't know if I can believe my own memories because memories is just like any sort of coding. I don't think she says coding, and I am rambling. But I do feel like Ghost is mentioned more in the movie than you're remembering.
Yeah, it's quite possible. But I mean, like,
I was going to ask you that.
That is also the subtext of that movie, whereas it's the point of this movie, where it's her grappling with who she is kind of like at the bottom. It obviously flows throughout the whole movie, but the main issue is taking care of the puppet master, and then those two lines connect at the end where they meet, and the ending happens, which I couldn't possibly explain.
She's seen some shit. Like, they allude to a lot of stuff she's been through, but it's not about, like, who am I? Where did I come from?
Exactly.
That is not important whatsoever.
Exactly, because it's boring.
The difference between, like, what makes a man do robot stream of electric sheep, like that sort of thing.
Again, I'm realizing we're at this thing where sometimes it's hard to talk about these ones when they just were sort of nothing to me.
They don't even, like, make you furious. It's just like, God damn it,
and I hear everything, and that's the best thing, is that at least I feel like I'm hearing from you guys the platform it had for being cool.
Sure.
But I didn't have I didn't expect anything beyond I was hoping. So in this regard, it disappointed me severely. I was just hoping it was going to be flipping around, punching and shooting.
Which it should work on that level alone, as you were saying.
And it kind of, it doesn't.
Yeah,
and it could have about half of the movie. I was still right on the borderline. I was like, oh, I think I like looking at this enough that I don't really care, because it was kind of a new, and like we've seen. That's what's hard, right? So this is now, from my understanding, is that so many things have been derivative of this and of that even that style, that it's like hard now when I'm seeing that in 2017 to be like, so it's new to me. Because I never saw the old one. So there's like stuff in it where I was like, oh, this world is just kind of cool looking. And like the cars are just kind of cool looking. So that was kind of stringing me along for long enough. But it's like, but if that,
Let me tell you how it could have been topical. These are different things that have happened, either standalone complex or the movie. In Second Gig, it's all about a refugee crisis.
Sure.
That couldn't be more topical. Laughing Man in the first season is all about corporate greed and like preventing people from getting medications because like the micronauts, or I forgot what they call them, are too expensive and they're trying to manipulate the market. All of this is really topical and not really that mind. And they're like, man, let's do RoboCop.
Let me ask a question.
Micronaut is a very small astronaut, by the way. That's the currency in
sweet.
Standalone Complex.
That was my question.
It's a nanomachine. I don't know what it is.
Let me ask you a question. What does anime mean? What does it stand for? I'm assuming it's like an anagram.
A new, interesting method of execution. You watch anime and you wow. Damn it, dude, that was fucking off the dome. I had a J today and I'm on board.
Oh, now that you open this up, he's gonna mention about all the time how much weed he smokes.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You've come out of the weed closet and it stinks.
It's the weed drawer, bro. Like, I mean, let's be perfecly honest, and it does stink.
Box your closet.
I want to think about why was this made if it wasn't going to be made for you two?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've had that question in a lot of movies,
and it wasn't made for me either because it wasn't good.
Well, there you go. There's Speed Racer. There's John Carter. There's every other adaptation that has been for just the sake of adaptation, where it's like this movie got sold by being an adaptation of this thing that studios know that people like.
Fine.
And then they don't care about the follow-through.
I love John Carter. John Carter got a bad rap.
We are John Carter fans.
John Carter's great.
I wouldn't go so far as great, but
it's fine.
We are John Carter fans.
Tim is like alphaing me right now.
This podcast is brought to you by John Carter of Mars.
No, but even something like Speed Racer is not even a great example because most people know what Speed Racer is, and here we go
visually
again.
Fantastic. Wachowskis did a great job with that.
In the zeitgeist
in what fucking universe do you make a fucking Speed Racer movie 2.5 hours long?
Yeah.
What ball?
They need editors. They need better editors.
Yeah, they need better editors. Please just let it go. I don't want to go back to that joke. That's a transfer. That's not what we're about. That's not
That's not who you are.
That's not what the beef is about.
But I'm still not even at the core here. So it's like that gets made, and I understand it because kind of, especially even parentally, what did that come out? 2000? How old were we? 2008. There are parents who were like, oh, I know the Speed Racer cartoon.
Right.
I used to watch that shit. Cool, I'm going to take my kid to Speed Racer, this big bang zang, poppy fun movie. That makes sense to me. Ghost in the Shell, call my mom and just say those words to her. See what response you get. Because I'm going to assume it's going to be something like, what?
Is it spooky?
It sounds scary. A shell of what is in an egg?
You're not even, like, I feel like if I called your mom and just went like, Gone with the Wind, she would also go, what? Why did you call me? Just say a title of a thing.
Fair enough. But my point, like, I literally don't understand why this got made then.
It's movie by committee. It's like we gotta please the nerds somewhat, but then mostly we want to please people who are just gonna buy tickets. And as long as we keep going to movies and giving them money, they'll be like, fuck it, we don't need a story.
I guess, but is the fandom of Ghost in the Shell, is it larger than, because obviously even I knew it existed.
No.
But like, is it so large and so profitable that alone?
No, it's like it's a movie nerd thing where you are advertising to the people who like think of it as it is a seminal 90s piece of cinema. It is just like one of those things that's like associated heavily with the 90s.
Akira at the top, and I think this is right below.
Yeah, absolutely. Of like the anime, of people thinking like, oh man, this anime thing's gonna be something, and they were very wrong, very, very wrong.
In niche markets, it's very. I mean, I'm sure it makes tons of money. Crunchyroll must make bank.
I'm sure they do, but after the 90s, when the bubble, like everything is like, no, we're just gonna do shit for people who don't leave their house from now on. Like now, it's every show is a 10,000-year-old little girl. It's the worst. I have issues with the anime industry. I have a very love-hate relationship.
I feel this.
It's mostly hate.
You get things like
Not
Attack
so
on
hidden.
Titan. Attack on Titan is brilliant.
Attack on Titan is brilliant for the first 4 episodes. Then it becomes the main character is the number one best guy who has all the best powers, and he is actually.
You're calling him a Mary
strong.
Sue?
He's 100% because so the first 4 episodes of that show. Sorry guys, going off Attack on Titan.
No, it's fine.
Armin gets fucking killed, or the main character gets fucking
Which is
killed,
great
and it was
and
rad.
unexpected.
And I know, and I was just like, oh, so the smart, like cowardly character, he's actually going to be the main character because he's tactical and he's like thinking it out. It's like, no, this guy can actually turn into a giant, and he has fire fists.
But we don't know why.
Who gives a fuck?
I do. I can't wait for the next season.
that always
we are
bugs
at
me.
odds, my friend.
Like if we were okay.
The I'm the best guy all of a sudden thing is always I mean, we were saying that as recently as a rival. It's not the same thing, but it was like the whole movie's about we don't know how to talk to these aliens, and then we get a 2-minute montage, and the next thing we see, they're talking to the aliens, and you're like, wait, so now you're just great at it, and now you can just talk to the. It's just like,
the
I
short
don't know.
story actually like is a little better at that.
I believe it.
My issue is that anime can't seem to evolve beyond a power fantasy. They can't seem to and I'm sure, and some people have. I mean, like Paprika is an example of that.
Paprika, Cowboy Bebop isn't about that. Samurai
Exactly.
Champloo is not about that.
Exactly. And there's a lot of great stuff, and those are all by the same guy.
I know they're both Watanabe.
And so
I
it's
wasn't
like-
sure if you're Evangelion's not like that.
But it also is.
It's actually the inverse
sometimes-
of that.
It is somewhat
Like, he's
because at the
like
end of the day,
masturbating on someone who's in a coma. Like that's not
Right, but-
power.
Hey, this
Right, it
anime
does turn it
sounds
on.
all right.
It depends on what you consider power. But yes, and whatever. Anime's fucking stupid. Everyone hates it.
Great pitch,
including
for
me.
by the way.
I
I'm
know,
like,
guys. You can like me. I'm Charley_Feldman.
Anime-friendly Twitter account.
So I just did a Gem fan film because the movie
Gem?
itself.
And
Gem,
the
Gem and
holograms?
holograms.
Yes, and the holograms. Okay.
So it was our feeling that the live action movie wasn't particularly like the cartoon enough for us. People love it. I'm not disparaging the movie.
I don't think anybody loves it. It doesn't have like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
People who are big Gem fans found a lot to love about it, and I don't want
You got to defend your base.
I don't want to take that away from them. But to me, it didn't quite get at the heart and the spirit of it, and I don't know why. And it just that's interesting why with adaptations, I don't know who makes those decisions. You'd think they'd want to appeal. Once they cast Scarlett and not a Japanese woman, I think they failed. I think that sunk it.
Yeah.
The backlash was way too strong. The politics, the optics of it were bad. Even though people in Japan allegedly didn't care, it sank it in America.
And I've discussed this a couple times. Sheila also lives in Japan, which is a hegemonic. Lots of Japanese people there, and not much else.
Well, their entertainment has Japanese people.
Exactly.
So they're used to seeing Japanese people, and
a lot of the argument is like, well, like if Japanese people want just like make more Japanese stuff, it's like they do, and it's for a Japanese audience. Like we're America, we're the country where everyone lives.
And there's also a cool character, Kusanagi, who's kind of in it. He's really about analog. He has no cybernetic enhancements, and they appreciate him because they appreciate diversity of thought, which is a really interesting concept. not in the movie.
He says it. He does go, I don't have any. No thanks. And then that's it. And
That's
then
it.
He doesn't
That's all
do
he
anything
gets.
else for the
I
rest
forgot
of the
he
movie.
said that.
I would love to. I mean,
There's
this
too much her. There's too much Scarlet. To
Yeah.
be perfectly, I think that's a big problem with the
too
script.
much doctor. We spend way too much time with her and the doctor.
And just her, every scene is her centric, almost
Yeah.
every single one. And if
And
it's
yet you don't know
not,
about her.
it's pointless, and it's just there to move the story along of like the CEO and the doctor talking. I got sick of her. I just wanted to see some of the supporting characters and like develop her as a person beyond just asking the question of who the fuck am I for 2.5 hours or 2 hours, half hours with trailers.
But it's like, again, it's even me just hearing. I don't know. I would love to just again talk to the people who push these things forward, or who gives the notes on the script, or who does it start crippled in a way where it's like, was the first draft a little messed up and it was already off base and they didn't even think, or does it start from the place where someone came in with all the great ideas from the anime and they were like, they said, nah, I'm sorry, that's a little too, it's too heady, no one's gonna,
Right.
But it doesn't even, from what you're saying, like, it doesn't sound like it's too heady.
Well, but it almost is, because to adapt this for a general audience, you need to change some shit. You just do. You can't end it with her head on a child's body.
Fine,
You
yeah, but
can't,
that's not, like-
you can't do some of the weird shit like that you do.
But
I
that's
mean,
just
you get
physically
major
weird.
brownie points if you tried.
Yeah, oh,
I wouldn't be mad at
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely, but if they want this movie to
It's a
do
harder
like,
sell.
yes, they want to do an action movie, blockbuster, fine, change some shit. That's fine. But what they changed, it's stupid. It's like it doesn't, what they made was not good. So it doesn't matter what they changed. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter if it's not like honoring the first film, because they didn't make a good movie with the
I know,
new shit.
I know,
What the
I
fuck am
understand.
saying?
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying
It's frustrating.
I would
That's
love
what
to
it is.
talk to the people and actually get the hard answer of like, was
what the
something
fuck did
turned
you guys
down?
do?
I understand. I mean, and again, we'll literally never know unless we talk to one of these people. But it's
Get him
like,
on the horn.
I would love to. You understand meddling. I can sympathize when it's like, dude, we wanted to do that theme, but they
notes
said
process.
no, and they were making it weird, and then it just turned into mush, and you kept doing rewrite after rewrite, and then it became this thing where all of a sudden she was a Japanese girl and got put in a white girl's
I
body.
mean, that's
Like,
allegedly the Suicide Squad excuse for A, or is that there was too much studio
But also-
meddling, and I don't know.
too much meddling, and also
We
he
need to
apparently
stop with that.
didn't have
he
enough.
Fucked that up. Like,
he also said he didn't have a lot of time, but it's like still, I don't know.
Yeah.
yeah, but he also hasn't.
What are the
a
requirements?
different-
These are why you never know, and this is why I try to
Whose
have.
fault is it
I
that
try
a
to have a
movie is bad?
first sympathetic response to when something doesn't work,
course.
especially in adaptation, because you're like, they might have literally from the get go when it was greenlit said you can't do that thing. It needs to be about humanity and keeping your humanity even in the
Sure.
encroaching technological world.
Then do another property. There are plenty of properties that are like that.
And this is what I'm asking. So,
Yeah.
so
There's a
why
number.
Ghost in
There's
the Shell
some-
then? Is it because that's what I'm saying?
I just don't think they got
There's
it.
some dude
I don't
in
think they
like
got the
a
property.
green see-through visor in a back room somewhere, like slamming on keys. No, that's calculating like what's the value of this brand? What is the actual monetary value of this brand, and how much will this affect our possible profits when we make this movie? And if it's like above a certain ratio, I think they just fucking go for it. They've been trying to make this Akira movie happen
help us.
for like 20 years. We read the script somewhere.
Even that though.
They made it. It's chronicled. It's fine.
I have
that's very true.
a hard time believing that someone looks at those numbers and is like, oh, this is going to be great for us.
Well, no, it's a probability thing where it's like this increases the likelihood of this being a success by this marginal amount. So let's fucking go.
Well, that's why they are doing sequels and IP that exists that people can latch onto, because they know they have a base. They know someone's going to show out to see it. That's why
Yes,
they're not
of
doing a lot
course.
of original stuff. But yeah, I'm still with you in that. Why make it bad?
Is the base of Ghost in the Shell so big that it
it has a base, which is
It
all
does.
that matters.
Yeah.
They're
And
make
they'll do
some
word
money.
of mouth, and they will get people to see it if it's good. If it's good.
But you see the gap I'm seeing here is like there is the base, but then why when you make it
Well, also think
make
about
it not for those
Studios
people?
and notes and
But if it's not
Think
for those
about the
people
world
and you have to
building.
make it broader for everyone, then why did you do Ghost in the Shell in the first place?
Let's say they paid $5 million for that license. You have $5 million for this whole visual aesthetic you didn't even have to think up. You got all these characters, you got all these costume designs. You don't even have to. You got all this shit to just base another movie on, which is all this stuff that takes so much time, like developing and creating a universe and a world. It's like even if you don't do things that honor the original or you change a lot because you still have to write a new script, it's still, you have all of this to build on, which is invaluable. Well, it's not invaluable. It just makes shit a lot easier.
I guess that's what I'm worried is the value of picking something. Even Akira, even for something that, I mean, so many people know what it is, especially now we're talking about the normalization of things that were the nerdy things, is now it's way more people know about it and blah, blah. But like, is the value of it so high that it merits making it with Warner Brothers and then them bastardizing the people who are
Yeah. At what point is it going to break? At what point is it going to start making negative money?
Because Spider-Man, Spider-Man or one of the bigger superheroes, you understand them just starting.
Right.
You get it's like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Look at the Batman versus Superman or whatever. You know that they started because they were like, this is gonna do fine.
Yeah, it's going to print money.
So
it's
fuck
fine.
it. So who cares if you're doing this?
I hate that sort of cynicism. You're so right, but it's just so sad that it's like that sort of cynicism on a top level.
Right, but is there going to be? This is a bubble, correct? And this is going to burst eventually.
This reboot shit.
Yeah, eventually it's got. I think people's taste will just change.
I don't know, because we even as far as like me thinking that car was awesome in the movie made me start to think as we're watching this, and I'm like, oh, this is still very cool, and the way they're dressed is still very cool. Yeah, so there's something happened where in 80s 90s, and that's about it, there was like this coolness thing, or like this story coolness radar that switched on, and you're like, oh, this is what is cool. This is like what a thing is, or this is what do you kind of know what I mean? This is what a genre is,
sure,
or what it sort of looks like. And as much as the Marvels are changing things and they're updating it and it's becoming smarter or whatever, in
as long
ways,
as they're making money, they're not changing. The bubble's not going to burst.
Possibly.
But something like this, which is a failure, I hope they learn the right lessons. I fear they're going to learn that Scarlett Johansson can't open a movie anymore. This is going to be their lesson.
Oh, we talk about this. This has come up almost every single week.
Yeah, they learned completely the wrong lesson.
We keep talking about like Wonder Woman.
It's who was in it. It's like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was word of mouth is so powerful. Everyone hates it.
Yeah, look at social media. Social media is people talking to other people saying, don't do this, do this. Right. This is cool, this isn't cool.
And I want to talk to your point from earlier about where the 80s, 90s coolness switch. This could be a whole other conversation, but I believe that culture stagnated with the advent of like Web 2.0. Yeah. I think there was something important about having like small pockets of like unconnected creators just doing their own thing and making movies and making stuff before connecting everyone together. And I know that's like kind of edging on the dangers of globalism or whatever, but I think that
which would have been interesting for Ghost in the Shell, because they could have talked about that.
I can't believe the kids. Yes, I can't believe the kids still listen to Panic at the Disco. Like that was what was cool when I was 14. It's still so popular. They are still one of the most popular fucking bands, and like there's new ones, but it's crazy what's still around from when I was younger. It still being.
It's only getting worse. There's not going to be this is stupid and broad, but there's not going to be another Beatles. We're not going to get like that's the kind of stuff that's not going to. There's not going to be another Spider-Man's not going to be ever created again. Yeah. I kind of believe that, and it would
be hard,
right? And it's just so ingrained, and it's so in there now in our everything that these are our. This is the pantheon.
Sure,
I think
gods,
it's technology. Yeah. That's what's going to change things. The more technology changes, the more you're going to have to adapt stories for. So it's not exactly new stories or new icons. It's new where can we put it? VR will change things.
Right.
Other technologies are going to change
Which
things.
is why the Marvel things are lasting, and it's why because they can just be taken, and now Spider-Man is a high schooler in 2017 instead of 1962.
Right.
So it's like fine, like it works. But I don't know. I feel like the more, like you're saying, as soon as there was the globalization, it's like all of a sudden now everybody can talk to everybody, and you can immediately
go
have
through all
everything.
of time of pop culture before you.
I think there was a crossroads where all of a sudden it split off into thousands of different roads, but right before that point, all the things that were already the big things remain the sort of the big things, because now that you could break off in every direction, there was it's again, when is the next time you're going to hear a thing that's just it's played on the radio a million times and everyone likes it? It is what, like, they are the band. There isn't a band right now, is there? Am I wrong?
It's very saturated right now, but I don't know. I feel like we can't possibly know what's headed our way. This must come up every single generation, that there's not going to be this, there's not going to be that. But technology moves on, people move on. I'm in the pro Ghost in the Shell futurism camp where I'm like, we have a good future ahead of us.
A different way that we can possibly. It's just not the way we used to.
No new art,
media.
just new artists.
Right.
Yeah, I'm boiling down to
Whole mediums could change. Like, we could just get a brand new fucking
Right. No. But I'm literally down to like IP. I'm saying like these Spider-Mans, the
I'm waiting for like taste artists. I'm waiting to like put like electrodes on my tongue and they like press a bunch of keys and just create a wonderful taste. That'd be fucking sick. Please don't steal that, Luke.
And then they Umami 2.0.
Yes.
Then they hit a wrong note and you're like, oh
yeah. Yes, cardamom and shit. Yeah, shit.
There was shit.
I mean, watching porn will really change.
Wow.
Think about it.
It's that old like
immediately thought about it.
There's that old Patton Oswalt bit where it's just like, we have our pussies are so fresh you can almost smell them from the screen. It's like, Bill Gates, if you're working on that technology,
like Odorama.
Stop right now.
Okay, so let's
cooking shows would be great.
Pooping shows?
No, cooking shows.
You're right. Pooping shows. Really
I think you might need to wrap up.
So we're gonna do final thoughts and then do a fun game we do. Final thoughts. One sentence or less.
I didn't hate it, and I also didn't love it, and I could feel the collective disappointment, cool. and yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It looked cool. It looked cool. It did.
Charley.
It looked cool. But it also showed you what it could have been and wasn't. Mm-hmm. And if, as we were talking about, if studios can't realize their mistakes, then I don't know how you go forward with adaptations and not disappoint people.
Sure. It's just another long line of. What's that? Hyperviolet or what was that MTV animated show?
Aeon Flux.
Aeon Flux. Yeah.
Aeon Flux.
It's another one of those where it's just like, it looks cool. It's completely empty inside, and it's going to disappoint the fans. So, I mean, I can't even. I really can't, like visually just watch it on fucking DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. Super advanced format.
Buy tickets to Get Out and then go see it.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
When Get Out gets more money.
That's a really good business model. You make people pay to get out. That's it's not. Don't let them leave.
Scratching.
We're gonna do the three-headed critic. Charlie's a fun game we play.
Ooh, okay.
You ever seen the three-headed improviser on?
I don't remember what they call it.
Whatever.
Like
three-headed. Okay. Everybody says one word in a counterclockwise position, and we don't stop until it's a coherent thought about the movie.
Ooh, this is fun and difficult. Okay, I'll do my best.
Dom's going to start with one word.
Okay. When
the
owls
of Ga'Hoole, Zack Snyder.
I was wanting you to do of Ga'Hoole. Okay, when the moon
turns
around,
I hope
it
shows
us
some
better
movies.
All right, that was the weirdest fucking one we've ever done.
What are you doing?
I don't know why. I don't know why I went to owls. When the owls of
Ga'Hoole came out in 2007, I thought
that was so. Not to pat myself on the back. The Zack Snyder, the Man of Steel. When we did that honest trailer, that was one of my favorite jokes that we did. It's like from the director of the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah,
we enjoyed making.
There's a great SNL bit where they were advertising like the Gathering of the Juggalos. It's like, with the screening of the Owls of Ga'Hoole, and I'm like, that's a hilarious fucking. You just anytime that and the last Mimsy make me laugh every time someone references it.
Or
gone.
Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
Yes.
It's also a great punchline. Thanks, Breaking Bad.
Excuse me. What was the other one that came out around that time? Is that the one that Heath Ledger died while filming?
No, you're thinking of the imaginary
Dr. Parnassus.
Which is Terry Gilliam, who is one of my favorites forever.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I like that movie.
It's a shame that Gilliam is like parody.
I wish I knew where it was going to go if he didn't die. Like he had to swerve really big, and I think they did fine. But I've always wanted to know where it actually is supposed to go.
Anything with the devil in it, I'm on board for.
Sure. Including this book. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. This has been Reasonable Beef. Thank you, Charley Feldman. Do you have anything to plug? What's popping with you right now?
Check me out. I'm mostly every Wednesdays now. I'm like Her Lady Wednesdays. So Screen Junkies News every Wednesday. I'll at least be there for social media, so you can comment and tweet to me while we're on air.
And how can they get Screen Junkies News?
On the YouTubes.
How the fuck did we get You want? How did you get her on this? You do actual stuff.
Thank you guys so much. This has been Reasonable Beef. Please, if you like this, please go to www.patreon.com/reasonablebeef and throw your money at me. And Dom, too. Both of us.
All right, and just give it to Tim.
Make it rain.
And Dom, give me a final thought.
On
Moment of Zen.
Owls. Take your thought.
There are too many films that start with the word Guardians. Thank you, everybody.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. Too many films. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
I do genuinely. Every time I've said Guardians, it's Guardians.
Galaxy.
That movie was called Guardians of the Galaxy now, right?
Well, I think it's
Rise of the Guardians is the Christmas
I wanna fuck Boma cause she got some big titties. Ash must be gay because he never fucked Misty. A watertight bitch with that pussy on Squirtle. Got hit not too pregnant with my baby, she was fertile. Big titties, sexy ass, and her hair purple. I wanna fuck, I don't care, you ain't no real person. I wish all the girls in the world were animized and like playing game with color. Well, I can fantasize by that anime pussy, anime pussy, anime pussy, anime